When magnets quarrel, the realm trembles and commoners bleed. My beloved Bohemia has been enveloped by a grim shadow, led by the devious and cruel Heinrich of Rosenberg. Some of our more ambitious lords have formed the so-called Union of Nobility and deposed King Wenceslaus. In a world governed by God and greed, it seems that not even monarchs are safe. Now I too have been swept up by this chaos. They call me Jan Zizka for the eye that I lost in my youth. For most of my life I tended to my family's small estate in Trocnova, while all around me, our homeland slowly went to the dogs. Once I inherited the land, I sold it to seek my fortune in Prague, where I became a retainer of the court. Now, with no king to serve and enemies closing in on all sides, I must once more forge a new life for myself. Having gathered what little I own, I set out into the country. There, in this vibrant land of verdant forests, majestic mountains, and rushing rivers, I shall seek out those bold men who would join me in a desperate battle against this foul tyranny. My enemies take me for a fool, mocking me as one-eyed Zizka, but it is they who cannot see. Like the one-eyed god of whom the men in the far north tell tales, I have a talent for the art of war. The Rosenberg scum rule this region from their citadel in the south. We shall tear it down, brick by brick.
Ano, pane. Rozumím vašim službám.
We will need resources to sustain our army. Harry these lands and rob our enemies so that we might eat instead. We can use these buildings to support our bands of raiders.
You are a unique specimen, Jan of Trocnova. I shall watch your exploits with keen interest.
This settlement will provide us with meager supplies. But if we are in a pinch, we can burn it and take its stockpiles for our own. We can pasture these cows north of our camp. Their milk will keep our bold fighters strong.
What is this? More rats come to spoil our supply stores. Saddle up, my knights. We will have something to say about that.
Ano, pane. Jak žádáš. Bojujme. Vašim službám. Do útoku. Bojujme.
Bravo, Jan Zizka, bravo! Take this gold and hire some mercenaries.
Rozumím. Jak žádáš.
Do you hear the rhythm of boots and the din of thundering hooves?
Ano, pane.
My armies come
Rozumím.
to stomp you out
Ano, pane.
like the vermin.
Rozumím,
that you
žádáš. Bojujme. Vašim službám. Ano, pane.
You cover yourself in glory without becoming arrogant, Jan of Trocnova. Now gird your armies with this equipment as well.
Rozumím. Jak žádáš. Rozumím.
Protect this market. We cannot obtain another.
Rozumím.
I can appreciate a man who fights valiantly under unfavorable conditions. I offer you these fighting men as a token of my favor. Now bring fire and ruin to our traitorous enemies.
Jak žádáš. Rozumím. Jak žádáš. Rozumím.
We can use these buildings to support our bands of raiders.
Co přikazuješ?
Leave my possessions alone, rodents. And I will offer you a
Ano. Vašim službám.
I will watch your long, painful demise with
Ano, rozumím, jak žádáš. Bojujme, co přikazuješ. Do útoku. Ano, do zbraně, do útoku.
This convoy will never reach Heinrich's castle.
Bojujme. Ano, pane, do zbraně, bojujme.
We can use these buildings to support our bands of raiders. This convoy will never reach Heinrich's castle.
So, a pack of weasels assails my castle walls. Guards, bring any survivors to my dungeons. Soon the cells will ring with the sweet sound of anguished howls.
Your demented sadism is at an end, Heinrich. I am here to dispatch you to the fires of hell.
Ano, přikazuješ. Do útoku. Ano, bojujme. Do útoku. K vašim službám. Ano, bojujme.
You think me doomed, you rat? But I left the castle long ago. Enjoy your smoke.
Ano, do zbraně.
Justice pursues you at the point of a blade, Heinrich. Run while you can, you lousy fiend. It is strangely gratifying to destroy the livelihoods of those who have extinguished your own. Yet, life on the road as a hired sword is perilous. When you walk the edge of a knife, any error may prove fatal. While I was busy razing the Rosenberg fortress to a smoldering ruin, Heinrich's forces captured a mercenary band led by my own brother. For refusing to give us up, he was cruelly slain along with his men. I came too late to rescue him, and my rash decision left me chained in a cell, awaiting my grim fate. I can only pray to God that I might prove as steadfast and unyielding in the face of torment and death as my brother was. Just as all hope fades, an angel swoops in to deliver the desperate from the abyss. Such is the way of things. Jan Zizka, my patron and benefactor, is now also my savior. The generous man who backed my expeditions exhorted King Wenceslaus, now restored to the throne, to demand that I be spared from a horrific death. After securing my release, Sokol bestowed yet another honor upon me and made me an officer in his army of sellswords. Now, I march at the head of that force. But for now, our sights are not set on Bohemia. To the northeast, a savage conflict has erupted between two age-old enemies. The Teutonic Order, a fanatical brotherhood of crusader knights, wages war upon the growing Kingdom of Poland. King Władysław Jagiełło of Poland, still known as Jogaila by his Lithuanian relatives, has taken the initiative and struck deep into Teutonic territory. Knowing that his Polish and Lithuanian army is not enough to achieve his ambitions, he has enlisted our famed company of Bohemian mercenaries. We are among the best swords in Europe, but the Teutonic Knights and their Crusader allies are a formidable match. on the plains near Grunwald. Courage will yield coin, or else a glorious death.
We will secure your center against Teutonic attacks, your highness. Zizka, prepare the troops, for it shall be on this bright day that the bold men of Bohemia prove their worth.
Our Grand Master Ulrich sent you these two swords, so that you might find your courage. Not delay the clash any longer.
Co přikazuješ? Ano, pane,
If you
rozumím.
lack space to deploy your ranks, we shall be glad to cede you some.
We accept your swords and land as an omen of victory. For the powers in whose name we fight do not look favorably upon the prideful and arrogant.
This is a day for battle, not prayer.
Right you are, Vytautas. Take your Lithuanian forces and draw out the enemy flank.
Forward, men! Lietuva! The Lithuanian rabble is attacking. Christ ist erstanden.
Vytautas retreats to bait the enemy out of line. Hit them now, Zawisza! Bogorodžica!
Far too long have I rested in the shade.
Ano, pane.
Now is the hour to draw my dread blade.
Go forth now and crush these fools. Gott mit uns!
Ano,
Robím v dolu. Sbírám.
robím v dolu. Pravdu díš.
Greatest swordsman of the age has been bested? Woe to the Order! Woe to our fallen brothers!
Our enemies are not invincible. Pour forth in numbers and drive them to the brink.
Vašim službám. Jak žádáš. Ano, ano, pane. Rozumím. Jak žádáš. Ano, jak žádáš. Do útoku. Do zbraně. Co přikazuješ? Rozumím. Jak žádáš. Do útoku. Rozumím. Jak žádáš. Rozumím. Jak žádáš. K vašim službám. Bojujme. Co přikazuješ? Rozumím. Jak žádáš. Rozumím. Ano, pane. Rozumím. Do zbraně. Ano. Do útoku. Rozumím. Do útoku. Jak žádáš. Do zbraně. Ano, pane. Rozumím. Ano, pane. Bojujme. Jak žádáš. Do útoku. Do zbraně. Do útoku. Ano. Ano, pane. Rozumím, jak žádáš.
Better men than you have tried to kill me.
Do zbraně.
Prepare to taste my bitter wrath, and that of God.
Do zbraně. Bojujme. Do zbraně. Do útoku. Ano, pane. Do zbraně. Jak žádáš.
The Grand Master falls to the fallow earth. A calamitous day. The Teutonic army flees the battlefield. You have done beautifully, Zizka.
By the grace of God, we have triumphed on the field of battle today. Gaude Mater Polonia!
Our victory was terrible, but great. For decades, travelers will be stunned by the graveyard left by this clash of arms, the greatest in living memory. With the Teutonic army crushed, we lost no time in pressing our advantage. The castle of Rodzinie quickly fell to our forces, but this triumph came at a tragic cost. My patron Jan Sokol, who had become almost like a second father to me, perished of poison. A base fate unworthy of such a marvelous leader. A joyous affair it was for the Polish king and his allies, but for us, it was a melancholy end. We now march home to our beloved Bohemia, pockets lined with coin, but hearts bitter with the sorrow of loss. Despite my skill as a commander, I cannot say that I am a great man. But I was fortunate to be alive at the same time as one, and even luckier to join his ranks. That man was the reformer, Jan Hus. Hus saw through the hypocrisies of our leaders and criticized them openly. The clergy and nobility, he said, exploited the common folk and denied them the wine in the holy act of communion. He was fearless, and the Pope was terrified of him. Hus was charged with heresy, and the Holy Roman Emperor Sigismund pledged him safe passage to Constance to defend himself. But the foul knave reneged on his word and handed Hus over for execution. Resolute to the last, Hus remained true to his cause, even as the flames took him. The tidings of Hus's brutal end sent Bohemia into a frenzy. With unbridled rage, we Hussites stormed the town hall in Prague and hurled royalist officials through its windows. Powerless to contain the chaos, King Wenceslaus died of shock, causing the hated Sigismund to lay claim to the throne. Now, as we prepare for all-out war, some Hussites have journeyed to the south and rebuilt an abandoned fortress into the citadel of Tabor. I marched to join them, but our route is fraught with peril. A league of ruthless noblemen known as the Iron Lords have sworn death to any Hussite that they meet, and most of our army consists of untrained peasants, men, and even some women who have never seen a day of battle. If we are to survive an onslaught of armored knights, these untrained commoners will have to turn wagons into weapons and fight in a way never seen before. March on the double, Hussites! The Iron Lords are hot on our tail!
Ano, pane. Bojujme, jak žádáš. Rozumím. Jak žádáš.
Sailing into a maelstrom. Prepare to face the wrath of the Iron Lord.
Co přikazuješ? Ano, pane. Ano, pane.
This bridge is one route to Tabor, but it is heavily guarded. Perhaps we should sneak through the swamps to the southeast instead.
Jak žádáš. Jak žádáš.
So, you heretics seek to creep through the marsh like a nest of adders. The Iron Lord's cavalry will rip you out like a clump of reeds, root and stem.
Steady on, Hussites! We have them right where we want them. Close formation and prepare to fire!
Co přikazuješ? K vašim službám. Ano, pane.
Welcome, Jan Zizka. Our fortress is yours. Just lead us to victory over these predatory noblemen and flush them out of their tall castles.
Pravdu díš.
Your feeble pile of stones will not save you from the Iron Lords, Jan Zizka.
Ano.
True warriors from real castles now issue forth against you.
Our scouts have mapped the region and located several of the Iron Lord's estates. Our weapons and supplies are few, but perhaps we can seize what we need from our enemies. Commoners though we may be, Hussites fight for a cause. Through sanctity and fervor, Your villagers will prove hardy in the face of enemy attacks.
Zdař Bůh.
Zbierám.
Zdař Bůh.
Zbierám.
Co žádáš? Ano?
Peasant armies
Stavím.
falter and bow like grass before a breeze.
Ano.
But the
Rozumím.
Iron Lords stand tall like the great oak. Soon, like the grass, you shall all be mown.
Co přikazuješ? Rozumím. Ano, ano, pane. Jak žádáš. Rozumím. Jak žádáš. Ano, rozumím. Co přikazuješ? Ano, pane. Jak žádáš. Ano, pane. Rozumím. Jak žádáš. Vaším službám. Rozumím. Jak žádáš.
Do zbraně!
Co přikazuješ? Službám. Ano, ano, pane. Jak žádáš. Co přikazuješ? Vaším službám. Bojujeme. Co přikazuješ? Do útoku. Vaším službám.
We have seized valuable equipment from this arsenal.
Co přikazuješ?
Arm yourselves, brothers.
Vaším rozumím. Jak žádáš. Službám.
You have pilfered some elegant weapons, Jan Zizka. But surely you do not
Ano,
presume that
rozumím.
foolish peasants could actually know how to brandish such fine armaments.
Vaším
Ano, pane.
službám. Ano, rozumím. Ano, pane. Vaším službám. Bojujme. Ano, vaším službám. Do útoku. Ano. Do zbraně. Co přikazuješ? Do útoku.
You presume to besiege our castles? Such amusement has not regaled the Iron Lords since Hus burned like a century.
Ano. Do zbraně. Do útoku. Vaším službám. Bojujme. Vaším službám. Rozumím. Ano, pane. Ano. Vaším službám. Rozumím. Jak žádáš.
Truly also endured the martyrdom of
Ano,
the people
ano,
of
pane.
Prahatica.
Jak žádáš.
The Iron Lords
Ano,
curse
pane,
you,
rozumím.
Hussites.
Vaším službám. Ano, pane. Rozumím. Co přikazuješ? Do útoku.
Stealing supplies, are we?
Vaším
Be
službám.
warned, the Iron Lords take the hands of
Přikazuješ. Do útoku. Bojujme. Do útoku. Bojujme. Ano. Do útoku. Vaším službám. Ano, pane. Co přikazuješ? Do zbraně. Ano. Vaším službám. Bojujme. Ano. Do zbraně. Co přikazuješ? Ano. Do útoku. Co přikazuješ? Bojujme. Ano. Do útoku. Rozumím. Jak žádáš. Ano, pane. Jak žádáš. Do zbraně. Do útoku.
Isek was a beloved resident of the
Ano, pane.
Iron Lords. You miscreants will pay for this affront.
With the Iron Lords defeated, we have made safe our new citadel. A small flame of hope now glows in the vast darkness of ignorance. On the marshy plains of Sudomierz, a rabble of peasants became a disciplined army. Crouched behind a wall of wagons, 400 Hussites broke charges of knights with volleys of crossbows and hand cannons before charging into the fray with flails fashioned from farm tools. As castle after castle fell, we exacted our grim vengeance. Only one man survived our sack of sedlets. A lord to whom we offered freedom on the condition that he lop off the heads of the other 5 noblemen standing beside him. Within the smithies and arsenals of the Iron Lords lay enough weapons to equip a small army. As my Hussites took these arms in their hands, I watched a force of commoners begin to realize the previously unimaginable. With faith, discipline, and my astute leadership on the battlefield, the Hussite movement could defy knights, nobles, and even an emperor.